Thanks for joining us again. Just Jared and myself out of the cavernous mansion.
Better acoustics.
That is Matty's place. Better acoustics, tighter.
Only just sort of dogs barking and crickets and shit.
And people fucking mow the lawn next door. But we've come in today for this episode as a listener request. One of our listeners, Matty B, sent us an email yesterday and asked about potentially doing 1988's Shoot to Kill, or as it's more, I don't know if say it would be well known, but I think in Australia and the UK it was known as Deadly Pursuit, which I actually think is a better name, to be honest. From 1988, so we are going to cover that. But before we get there, what have we been watching?
Do you want to know?
Oh, well, fuck, it's probably Full Moon feature.
Okay, well, yeah. Again,
Oh, shit.
There's two in there.
Okay.
Kicked off with a Full Moon feature called Hideous. Quite amusing. Had the bloke who was the taxi driver in Total Recall
Oh, yeah.
facing off against another bloke, and they both collected kind of medical oddity kind of things, and then they come to life, and yeah, entertaining stuff.
Okay, sounds great. Continue.
Get on it. And the other Full Moon features, I watched Demonic Toys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Again, you know what you get from Full Moon features. There's only a few of them that are really kind of elevated above the standard. This one for me was just, your run of the mill. It was yeah. Obviously, you and I both checked out X.
Yes.
I was very happy with it, actually.
Very
very
big shout out to Luke, who not put us onto it, but he gave us a bit of a review of it in advance, because I think he saw an advance screening.
Yeah.
And he raved. He said it was great. And,
I was looking at heading in, because they had one at Belconnen as well.
Yeah.
So I was looking to check it out. Didn't quite get to it, but then thankfully you messaged basically a day or so later and said, do you want to check it out?
And he was really big on it, and so I was pretty pumped, and it turned out to be really well done. It's kind of a slasher, I don't know, had sort of overtones of things like Hereditary and that.
Well, it's another one of these ones where it's more
elevated.
It's a little
horror.
more than just you could sneak it into the elevated horror.
Yeah.
But then it drags itself back with the smutty kind of
yeah, that stuff was fucking very untidy.
But I was really happy with it, because the slasher stuff works on its own. Ty West has done a really good job with the direction.
Yeah.
When you get into what they're fucking talking about with, not jumping into spoilers, but with what's happening.
Yes.
It's a fucking interesting little take on things.
And it does have that kind of Texas Chainsaw vibe.
Yeah, it looks a lot like it. The griminess of it and that same sort of colour palette.
Yeah. Big shout out to, what was the actress's name? We meet her early on. She's basically the main star.
Yeah,
I can't remember her name now. On the tip of my tongue, but she is really. I mean, all the actresses are really good. You've got Jenna Ortega. You've got Mia Goth. You've got Brittany Snow, and then chuck in a fucking Martin Henderson tromping around looking for people at his crackers, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
He's back. The
big fella's back. But it really had some interesting shit, some very untidy shit. But it was kind of creepy the way they did it, and some gore that was right over the top, which I loved.
Yep.
Overall, check it out. It's definitely worth it.
Yep.
Real good one.
Very pleased with that. I finally received my copy of Candyman Day of the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
It's been many years since I've
seen it. Keep an eye out for
this.
Instagram. I'll hit you with the cover art, which is fantastic.
Yeah, the DVD looks fucking fantastic. Movie, not quite as good. But, look, it was good to get a hold of that, because it's been very difficult to grab, and I'd already had a copy of Candyman before the Shout Factory one came out, so I was never really missing on the original. I had a DVD copy of Farewell to the Flesh, but this one I'd never got a hold of, and it just kind of disappeared for a while. You couldn't get it on streaming. It was on Amazon for a brief stretch and then disappeared. So I was happy to get a hold of it. Look, the movie's it's the worst one in the series, but there's still a couple of things about it that I did enjoy. The special edition has some interviews with Tony Todd and Gary Tunnicliffe and people like that, which was great. Great to see. I'd forgotten that Nick Corey was in it.
Oh, is he?
Or Sue Garcia, I believe his name is. He's gone back to his real name.
Did he go up yours with a twirly lawnmower?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that. Didn't happen.
Question for you. Is there a big drop in acting skill between Virginia Madsen and Donna D'Errico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a touch.
Cavernous?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a large drop. It's a large drop. And they did, the people on the DVD all rave about Donna D'Errico. They say she was right up for the special effects and everything, and she gave it her best, but she's not a strong actress.
No, not a strong
Virginia Madsen she's not quite in that category. So yes, there is a drop off there, and they do talk about how the budget just squeezed the life out of it.
Yeah.
And the guy that directed it has gone on to do some reasonable stuff in television. Yeah. So I think, it's probably one of those ones where you could say that sort of stuff did hamper what they were trying to do.
Yeah. Probably unfair to kick Donna D'Errico really hard, because you've got to remember that the budget would have been squeezed. It seems like it's a direct-to-video piece. Yeah. You're going to take certain levels of talent, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was that. I saw The Bad Guys with the kids.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, not bad. They've read the books, so we sort of enjoyed that one. It was good fun. And the last one I checked out was finally on Australian Shudder. We finally got You Might Be the Killer.
Oh, yeah. I saw that there.
Yeah.
I haven't been on Shudder for 6 months. I might have to get back on it briefly.
Okay. Right.
I'll probably have to log back in.
Yeah, not bad. A lot of twists and turns. I liked it, but I didn't love where it sort of went, the direction that it went. It's trying to make fun of this, or, play on the slash tropes, which it does successfully in some parts. In other aspects, I didn't enjoy it as much. I think the main thing that it kind of hangs its hat on when you figure out what's going on is sort of removed. It's not a classic slasher trope. It's more kind of niche.
Yeah.
So I felt when you went with that angle, it's like, okay, well, you kind of removed yourself a little bit from
slasher,
the Friday the 13th realm and that sort of stuff that you're talking about a lot. But yeah, it was entertaining enough. The fella from Cabin in the Woods, what's his name? Fran Katz.
Yeah.
He's really good, and he's basically. The entire movie basically hangs on his performance, and I think he's really good. But all in all, I just felt it was slightly underwhelming. Ending is pretty strong, but it was slightly underwhelming.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's worth a look.
I've definitely been waiting for that one.
It fits neatly in the Tucker and Dale and Cabin in the Woods.
Well, that works. That works for me. Yeah, most of them have been pretty good.
Yeah, and this is it's definitely an entertaining watch, but not quite as good as some of those ones.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. I knocked over the rest of Drive to Survive, seasons 3 and 4. Fucking awesome. Loved it.
Love it.
The last episode of season 4 is fucking awesome. And it's tense as shit. They do such a good job to make it so tense. You're on the edge of your seat. Really good stuff. I started watching because it turned up on Disney Plus, and I was surprised because I'd been looking for it for a while because I was a fan of the books when I was a kid. The Hardy Boys.
Yes.
Episodes 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Very solid.
Yep.
Very solid. It's set in the 80s. It's shot in this way where everything's a bit darker and stuff, so it's got a mysterious look about it.
Mm.
And so far, there's plenty of intrigue. Things are going on, and unlike Nancy Drew, it's fucking legitimate human beings, not fucking supernatural. Although I did catch the trailer for season 2, and it insinuated something similar, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, good.
But pretty solid. I went to the cinema and saw Dog.
Yep.
With Channing Tatum,
mm-hmm.
with my wife. Good, solid stuff. I like a movie with a dog in it. And Tatum...
Of course you do.
Fuck off. And Channing Tatum has... I've warmed to Tatum over the years.
Yeah.
Initially, I thought he was a bit, wooden.
Well, put it this way. I saw the preview to the movie, the fucking one with Sandra
Lost Tribe.
I thought... I might see that.
Yeah, true.
I might check that out.
True. We did see that preview, and my wife was hanging for it.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I did laugh when she asked Brad Pitt, "Why are you so handsome?" And he goes, "My father was a weatherman." Jesus. Well, that was quite amusing.
Yeah. There's a few laughs to be had in that one.
Exactly. I watched Freaky.
Yes.
The Blumhouse one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
I
liked it. Yeah, I thought they did a really good job. And both actors do a fantastic job when they're when they have to switch.
Yes.
Vince Vaughn does what he does, you
Yep.
know, and he sort of carries off that kind of teenage girl stuff
Yeah,
really
yeah.
well.
Yep.
And the other girl, what's her name? Is it Catherine Newton?
Catherine, yeah.
She's fucking awesome.
She's really good.
She's really good. And
I
I
also
remember seeing
love-
her in The Society a couple of years ago on Netflix,
yeah.
and she's really come. And I believe she's in Blockers as well. Admittedly, I missed her because John Cena was chugging a beer through his ass.
Yeah, no, but yeah, Vince Vaughn, especially like the scene where the bloke's fucking professing his love for the girl, and Vince Vaughn's the girl.
Yeah, that was
just
funny.
awesome.
Yeah, it was funny. So I enjoyed that. Another good one from Blumhouse.
It's the same guy that is doing. Obviously, did Happy Death,
Happy Death
Day,
Day.
but doing the Back to the Future style one.
Oh yeah, what's that one called?
The name escapes me at the moment. But
Yeah.
it's basically the same thing. They're taking this genre that's been done before, but hasn't really been done with slashers and mixing it up.
Yeah, I like
So-
that. I like that idea.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Based on the track record, like
Yeah.
the first Happy Death Day and Freaky, I'm absolutely.
Except for Happy Death Day 2, where he
Yeah, I
stretched
didn't
too
love
far.
that. I didn't love
He
that
stretched
one.
too far with that.
But yeah, I'm very interested to see what they do with the whole Back to the Future elements.
I watched Christine.
Yep.
Yeah. Better than I remember it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
good. It's middle tier of both King and Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
But it's good.
The book is better.
Yeah.
I do remember the book being better.
But there's some really cool shit in there. Some really
And
well
I
shot.
love the way they shoot it. You know, the lights coming on in the car, the music acting as like Christine's voice.
Yep.
Arnie changing from bookish nerd to fucking greaser from the 50s.
Yeah.
I really like those elements. And I also love Darnell, played by Robert Prosky, who's where he keeps putting the car. And when he says to him, "Oh, you can take whatever you want out of the trash thing. You pick up around the place, you do a couple of lubes," and then he goes, "I'll have to think about it." And he goes, "Don't think too fucking long, or I'll throw you on your fucking ass." It's just like, yes,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, it's middle tier Carpenter, and it's middle tier King,
Mm.
but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
And I think it
Absolutely.
works well for what.
Look, middle
they had.
tier of both of those blokes is pretty good.
Pretty good. We watched Yes Day on Netflix. Another one with my wife. Yeah, it's the whole classic sort of thing of you give the kids a day where you say yes to everything. A bit like Yes Man.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know, it was
A
alright.
trudge.
It was alright. No, it was only fucking 80 minutes or something, so it was overdone with so quickly.
Yeah.
Then I got to a bit of, as per usual, documentary stuff. Bad Vegan, which was a 4-parter about this woman who had become quite restaurateur
Yeah.
in what's known as, what's it called? Kind of raw food.
Yep.
Raw food. And she basically gets hoodwinked by this bloke. And there's a couple of takeaways, Jared. Dating on the internet, not a good idea.
Yeah.
A good idea. If
Yes.
if
think
I
as we
become
mentioned the other
single
day, I think
in the
as we
next
mentioned the other
few
day-
years, I am just gonna fucking not bother with that shit.
Yeah. I think you just fucking put your dick back in the satchel and
Yeah.
fucking don't
I'm-
take it out.
I'm packing it up, putting it in a fucking crate, nail it down.
I think, as we said the other day, the second Dwayne Johnson asks you on a date,
Yeah, or for 50k,
Yeah.
you know something's up.
yeah, the
But the
rock's
second part
part
of it-
light on this week.
Yeah, one of his residual checks didn't come through. He needs 50k. Holy shit.
I think that might be the worst one I've ever heard
Oh,
someone
funniest.
fall for. But yeah, you're right. Like the second, if things are going along well, and you've gone, if you've hit, you keep hearing these stories, and yeah, we're getting along like a house on fire, and but you kept avoiding meeting in person. How long? Oh, 3 years.
If
If you haven't met in person after a month, let's call it quits.
Well,
That's probably
this
a good
guy
rule.
did turn up.
He turned up.
He turned up early.
Yeah.
But the problem was he was a fucking...
He turned up looking like Lionel Hutz with an empty briefcase.
No,
and said,
it's full of crackers. He was like fucking Kramer.
and said, "You got any cash?"
I know. What he was doing was what a lot of fucking... He was using techniques like cult people use,
Yeah,
which is to kind of break you down. Break down your will to live.
Yeah.
Just break you down mentally. So
Well,
they basically tell you
if you had a vegan restaurant, you've already lost the will to live.
Well, they showed this, but they're all
That's harsh. That is harsh.
I mean, they're all crapping on about how it's a fucking place to be, this joint, and they show them putting some plates out. And I'm just looking at it going, I mean, I need a meal. I fucking need that. Even if it's
I'll
more.
have 7 of those.
Yeah. I am honestly looking at it and going, get me a couple more.
Yeah, I went to the gym today. I need something.
Yeah. Look at me, I'm about to fucking pass out, and this is not going to keep me upright, is it? But the problem was that they were he was breaking her down, and essentially for somebody so smart and so capable, because she was, she had a fucking Ivy League education.
Yeah.
She worked her ass off. Like, she was no fucking mug. No doubt about that. He broke her down mentally. It just showcases that there's a difference between being smart and having common sense.
Yeah.
And
can I say one thing?
People with common sense just say, fuck.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Does your common sense break down a little bit if you haven't hopped in the sack in a while? Does it break down quicker?
I think there's probably a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Maybe. And maybe not necessarily hopping in the sack. It was probably more...
I'm sorry. I'm being crude, but I just feel like there is an element of that.
There is. But in her case, it was she worked so much that she just started...
Didn't have time to hop in the sack.
Well,
so
she was basically like lonely, like living.
That's what I mean. That's
living
kind of
basically going to work, coming home, working.
I am
the
laughing,
whole fucking
but
life.
the loneliness and the fucking the need to have someone else around.
But Jared, another takeaway: when someone tells you they were either in the CIA or something of that nature, it's usually not true, right?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you this.
Psst, I used to be a spy.
Yeah. My thinking is, if you were in the CIA, you don't want anyone to know.
Yeah, that's right. Don't tell me.
Yeah, exactly. So this dickhead was running one of those sort of schemes.
Yeah.
And they always use the CIA because the CIA is never going to confirm or deny that someone was there.
Yeah.
You can't just ring up the CIA and say, listen, Jared Cox, is he in the fucking...
Well, I can tell you, no, I wouldn't pass, I wouldn't pass the test.
It's a clean no, that guy. No, he's not in there. But
yeah. Use your common sense. You reckon?
No. The voice on the end of the phone goes, what do you reckon?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely not. It was good. It was actually pretty good, though. I'd have a look at it if you're into your sort of true crime sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And the last one was I watched the Jimmy Savile doco.
Yeah, I started that.
British Horror Story.
Yep.
Look, very interesting, but way too long.
Yes.
Way too long. Like, it's 3 hours. It could have been about 100 minutes. They spend an entire episode telling us that Jimmy Savile was the most famous bloke in England. He had connections with the royal family and you know, Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and all this sort of stuff. And this was kind of how he got away with it. Yes, we know that, though.
Yeah.
If anybody who knows the case of Savile knows that he was protected.
Yes.
You only need half an hour to explain that, but they just rambled on for forever.
Well, I think the extra time was spent, and some of it was worthwhile, on showing the level of fame that he had achieved. The fucking royals were leaning on the bloke for advice.
Can you just run your eye over this?
Yeah, Prince Charles is asking him to run his eye over.
If I'm the Queen, I'm going, you gave this fucking barely literate coit some shit from our office to have a look at.
Don't you have a security team?
Well, don't you have people who write your shit for you?
Yeah.
Christ, Charles, how are you going to run the family when the Queen dies?
Yeah, that's right.
But, agreed, Savile had a lot of pull. And there was obviously dodgy things about him. But he also came up through a period of time where you didn't have as much info and as much depth. You couldn't go into it. And it was interesting that showcases how the internet played a part in finding out more. But also, I felt the first episode kind of offered up a few fucking weak characters and their, you know, dicey mea culpas about how they should have known, but the excuse was this, and, you know, like...
Yeah.
Just admit, look, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't know, because you know what? Nobody knew.
Well, the guy did. It was clear that he kept all of this shit from the people he knew.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yes.
They weren't the ones that were going to know about it because he was keeping it.
And also, this is the worst thing about it. He did a lot of good things.
Yeah, yeah.
But
mountains of cash.
But as they said, it almost as if he was trying to balance the ledger.
Yes, correct.
All the bad shit. If I just do all this, I'll feel better.
Yeah.
It was an interesting doco, but it's certainly not.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Good on Netflix.
I
still can't get them right, can you, fellas?
No. I forgot to mention one.
Oh.
I saw Morbius.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw Morbius.
How was that?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No, I thought it might not be.
As Gibbo pointed out, I said to Gibbo, who hasn't been here in a while, but just to keep the man around, I sort of said, Jared Leto's really good. He's a really good actor. And Gibbo said to me, "What evidence do we have to suggest that at this point?" I said, "Well, I had to up and half a little bit."
Hit the nail right on the head.
No, yeah, because recently there's been a couple. Obviously, I can't go to the Joker or any of those sort of things, but the guy is quality, and I think I haven't seen The House of Gucci, but everyone's talking about how good he was in that.
But
things like Dallas Buyers Club. Obviously, the guy has the ability. He's
Panic
fine.
Room.
He's fine. He's not the problem.
What's the problem?
The problem
it's not Tyrese, is it?
Well, his character, yes. I mean, fuck. His cop character just turns up, finds out minuscule details, and then fucking does nothing for the rest of it. There's no, like, Jim Gordon kind of relationship of where he's, he's onto him, but he knows he's a good guy, so he's just kind of holding off or whatever. There's just nothing.
So they've saddled him with fuck all.
Saddled him with fuck all. Some
Which
people
is disappointing because I actually don't mind Tyrese.
Yeah, some people suggest that it probably takes itself a little too seriously, which, yes...
Jared seems to take himself too seriously, considering people were wheeling to the bathroom.
Well, we've spoken about this method acting and how you don't have to do it and be an arsehole. I believe Robbie Pattinson said you don't have to be an arsehole about it, and he still manages to deliver really good performances. But here's my problem.
Yeah, but he's got fucking common sense, mate.
Yeah,
he's got common sense.
You are requiring... If you're going to the toilet in a wheelchair, which it's said Leto had been doing on the set, what happens when a bloke who actually needs the fucking wheelchair toilet or a woman that needs the wheelchair toilet comes in to use it and you're sitting in there saying, no, hang on a minute, I'm using this. You don't need it.
I'm getting into character.
Oh, fuck.
I'm breaking one off.
You
fucking disabled toilet.
You bastard.
You know what? I read quite a funny article on Cracked about the 5 craziest fucking method acting efforts.
Yeah.
And of course, big DDL, Daniel Day-Lewis pops up.
He had 3 out of 5, I reckon.
One of them was he got pneumonia on the set of The Gangs of New York because he refused to wear a coat.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I could pretend to be cold. I probably wouldn't do it as well
even he admitted, look, it wasn't the best thing for me physically.
The thing about it is, sometimes, yeah, okay, if you want to learn how to fucking stump houses, then maybe that will allow you to get into the character a little bit more. But... not wearing a coat? Like, how much of the film is that going... And how much of your performance is that going to impact?
Yeah. Look, shiver. Shiver for me, mate.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, can you just chatter your teeth a little more, Daniel? That'll do the job.
And look, one thing I will say for Day-Lewis is there's not a lot of reports of him being an asshole. There's reports of his efforts to get into character, which are fucking outrageous in a lot of cases, but he doesn't seem to be hurting anyone else, if you know what I mean. Like, you don't hear that Daniel Day-Lewis has fucking kept the entire production, held the production hostage while he fucks around.
Yes, that's right.
But Leto, I mean, if he sent me a fucking used Spranger in the mail, he's getting his lights punched out.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm coming down to set and saying, "You fucking filthy prick."
Yeah. I wish he would do that to George Clooney.
Clooney would be on the first plane from fucking Lake Como. Drop him.
Yeah.
He's on the first private jet from Lake Como to smack the bloke.
Yeah. I mean, Clooney just knows how to handle that stuff. Like, you know, the movie 43 producers. George Clooney just said, fuck off.
Yeah, they thought they'd wear him down. Nah.
No.
But that's it for me.
Yeah.
Now, we've got a quick up or down. Ben, one of our, listeners, long-term listeners, friend of the show, just asked us to have a quick look at an up or down on a new techno horror film.
The long-awaited return of techno horror.
Coming to Netflix in a week's time, called Choose or Die. It's directed by someone by the name of Toby Meekins, who had nothing but short films under his belt. And it stars Asia Butterfield, who's in Hugo. I'm going to say I'm middle.
Yeah.
That sort of shit, if you can get it right, if you can actually go somewhere interesting with it, it could work. And it showed a couple of sequences that I was kind of interested in. I was kind of thinking to myself, well, where's this sort of going to go? Where's it going to head? The problem is the track record for this type of stuff is basically 0 and 5. Lawnmower Man, shit house.
Well,
Lawnmower Man 2, shit house. Ghost of the Machine, shit. Brain Scan, shit house.
Yeah.
I mean, when Brain Scan's the top one of the list, you've got a problem.
The initial hook of old video games and unclaimed prizes and stuff, I'm like, yeah, cool. I like it. Yeah. When we see the sequences, I sort of found myself thinking it looks like they're just going to squeeze as many kind of Saw type situations and choices into this as they can, but I'm still sort of interested in what they were throwing out. I mean, I could do with like a fucking Marilyn Manson-esque goblin-looking dude in leather pants gyrating around, of course,
and
who doesn't need
somebody has to call someone a sausage dick. The film is nowhere is less impressive.
Correct. But yeah, it definitely there was parts of the trailer where I thought, ooh, doesn't fill me with confidence. It did look like they were trying to squeeze a lot of those situations in. I'm getting the feeling that perhaps they're just going to hop from one to the next without actually kind of putting a coherent story together. But that would fit right in with techno horror.
Exactly.
You don't need a coherent story.
Right. Certainly the other five films didn't bother with it, so why with this one?
Yeah.
Look, I'm on the fence. What about you?
Yeah, on the fence, definitely.
All right.
But as you said, Netflix. We already have it. We already have access to it, so we may as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm prepared to watch it.
Yes. My $7. No, it's actually what? It's near $20 down the drain this month.
Oh yeah, I'm on a 4K plan.
I've already flushed.
I'm getting screwed.
I've already flushed my 20, so may as well watch it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's take a break. Here's the trailer for 1988's Shoot to Kill, aka Deadly Pursuit.
He used a 9mm automatic. I promise you, this guy's killed before.
FBI special expert Warren Stanton is up against a killer unlike any he's ever faced. A killer no one has ever seen. A killer going where no one has ever been.
One of the men in your party is an imposter. How many are up there in this fight? 5 fishermen and a leader, Sarah.
This is supposed to be a fun trip, not Hell Night.
You really think he'd kill any more of those people?
Jump! Jump!
Yes, I do. But before Warren Stanton can take on the killer, he must take on a guide.
Ain't no elevators out there, mister. No cable cars, no buses. Mr. Knox, you've got one choice, and one choice only. That is to guide me into those mountains. This man is mine, you understand?
What the hell are these?
Battery-powered heated socks.
Sarah, Jonathan's coming.
That's your boyfriend, Sarah.
But you better keep up. Because if you slow me down and Sarah gets killed, I'll kill you. 2 men tracking a killer and his hostage. One for revenge, the other for love.
No!
2 men trapped in the middle of nowhere.
Stanton, dig! Come on, dig, or we're gonna die!
Now they must find in each other what it takes to survive.
You got frostbite on your face. Never seen frostbite on a black guy before. It kind of purpley splotches.
How does it look
found a white guy. White patch is surrounded by red. You got it too. Move in! I'm gonna pull the trigger! Let the girl go!
Sidney Poitier,
Let her go or die! You're crazy!
Tom Berenger,
Get out!
Kirstie Alley,
Run!
Deadly Pursuit.
Shoot to Kill, aka Deadly Pursuit, from 1988, directed by Roger Spotswood, who directed Stop or My Mum Will Shoot. Jesus. Produced by Daniel Petrie Jr., who produced A Haunting at Silver Falls, and Ron Silverman, who produced Krull. The story is by Harv Zimmel, who wrote The Sentinel, and the screenplay is by Zimmel, Michael Burton, who wrote Flight of the Navigator, and Daniel Petrie Jr., who actually wrote Beverly Hills Cop. It stars Sidney Poitier as Warren Stanton, Tom Berenger as Jonathan Knox, Kirstie Alley as Sarah Rennell, and Clancy Brown as Steve. The budget was $15 million, the box office was $29 million, and Sidney Poitier's return to acting after 11 years away. This was his return. Right, I'll come out of the blocks on this one. This was actually as I said at the start, a listener pick. A long-time listener, Matty, asked us about this one. Found it on YouTube. Clean copy.
Clean.
Fucking clean. Super clean. And I had actually been looking for this for a while.
Yeah. And I mentioned to you, mate, with my eyesight, you could have told me it was 4K and I would have said,
You could have
great.
told me it was 5K. I would have said, yeah, I know. But big shout out to Matty. It was good to hear from you, mate, the other day, and we're very keen. We're very keen to cover this, so thank you for putting us onto it. I'm going to come out and say serviceable action thriller. More of a thriller than an action picture.
You're bullish.
I'm bullish. Serviceable, good cast, and a good kind of love-hate chemistry. Almost kind of like that buddy cop type of setup between the two leads, which works really well. Punctuated by a couple of highly amusing moments.
Yeah, yep.
It's got a good concept. I like that idea of the killer being in the wilderness group and them on the hammer of it and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of genuinely suspenseful sequences, but they kind of paper over some pretty big plot holes. I mean, honestly, is only one FBI guy going to chase this dude?
Yeah.
The joint would be crawling with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's a few of them.
And the killer is way too easy to spot.
Yes.
He sticks out like a third dog's nag.
Yeah, maybe in that era, maybe not so much, but
These days.
yeah. Pretty clear who it was.
But I gave it 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it. I hadn't seen it for a while and I was pretty happy with what I saw.
Yeah, right.
Fits nicely into that period of like Lethal Weapon, Stakeout, those type of movies.
Yep.
That were all around at that time.
Yeah, I went for a 3 as well. Entertaining. Sidney Poitier is really good.
Yeah. Kind of like, he's like Denzel.
Yeah,
before Denzel.
Him and Berenger are pretty solid together.
Yeah.
As you said, there's some really silly parts of it that are hard to buy, but the idea is sound. In terms of how much time you spend with each group, there's a few issues there as well.
I had problems with the other group.
Yeah. And although there are some funny parts that I did get a few laughs out of, it's kind of jarring.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit with what's going on in the other group.
Especially when Berenger knows his missus is in a hostage situation, basically.
Normally in films like that, like Beverly Hills Cop, you don't really have the impending danger. You do have danger there, but there's time to kind of... Yeah, it's percolating. You got time.
There's time to take the police officers to a strip club.
That's right, exactly.
Time for that shit.
Whereas this one, it's pretty, the situation's pretty high level.
The stakes are high.
The stakes are high the whole way through. So when you stop for a couple of gags, sometimes the tone is a little bit jarring.
I agree.
But yeah, entertaining enough.
Yeah.
Just the sort of shit I would love to have found on the video shelves back in the day, and
I'm sure I did.
Yes, so
straight out of the gate for me, it's an excellent cast of solid actors. Like it's a really good cast.
Very good.
When you're actually looking at it closely, there's a lot of, even in smaller roles, there's people I've seen around the traps.
Yep.
But your main cast of Sidney Poitier, Tom Berenger, Kirstie Alley, Clancy Brown, Andrew Robinson, all good actors.
Yep.
And all fulfil the roles required. Now, you said to me, Jared, and this has been an interesting discussion, 11 years since Sydney had been on the screen, right? He'd been directing all that time.
Yes.
And you're saying to me, why does he pick this up?
Yeah.
Why do you think he picked this up?
Why do I think?
Yeah. Someone put a large check in front
I
of
was
him.
I was going to say, director S. Portier is not cashing the same checks as actor S. Portier. So maybe there was a point where he thought, well, I could do with a little bit of a bump to the
pay
bank
packet.
balance. So maybe that was a reason. And it looks like it's got a reasonable budget. There's a lot of locations there that wouldn't have been a fucking easy to shoot at.
Yeah, $15 million budget was what it was. And that was pretty high for this period.
Yes, so, Sydney probably got well compensated for his time.
I think so. I also think this was around the time of Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
And things like that. And this type of chemistry of two guys at odds, but then coming together in a difficult situation, in an action thriller type of thing, that template was already established.
That's right. And I mean, obviously there was movies before that were doing it, but Lethal Weapon really hit in a big way that people did start to copy it. The second that it kicks off, you hear the sax.
Yeah.
And you immediately think of Lethal Weapon.
You hear the saxophone.
Saxophone's going.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. San Francisco's never looked so sexy.
But, yeah, straight away you think Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
With the sax starting at the night time kind of...
I would suggest this cast gives a movie... This is kind of B-movie. Let's be honest. Like, as far as a script, this is not the sort of thing that A-list participants usually hover around.
No.
But because of the period and the time, it would have been A-list material, but it's pretty much B-list.
I mean, it's not the sort of thing that would entice a legendary actor out of an 11-year hiatus.
But I wouldn't have thought it wouldn't have.
No.
But these guys give the movie some gravitas.
They do.
That it doesn't probably have if you don't have Sidney Poitier. If you don't have Tom Berenger. Because Berenger was just fresh off Platoon, so he was fairly hot. And maybe, and Poitier obviously was a legend.
Yes.
So it's one of those things, and I think it works well in that that side of the coin.
Yep.
The buddy cop antagonistic stuff really works for me.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Because the chemistry works. Those two know how to sort of create that dynamic of... You don't know what the fuck you're doing. And I do like the whole thing of, you might be hot shit back where you come from, but this is my world.
Yeah.
And then he kind of says it to him near the end. Poitier says it at the end.
Yeah, and I think that was a good move to get a little bit of both sides. But yeah, Sidney Poitier is all class. I mean, he's the one that's really setting it off. Berenger's good, and the chemistry's good.
Yeah.
But I think had it been someone else, maybe not so good, I think Sidney Poitier is just...
Yeah.
The guy's all class. And you can buy him as an FBI guy.
Yeah.
Even though he's a bit sort of, I don't know, he wouldn't have been my first choice, but as soon as you hear him kind of get up on the scene and start breaking things down and barking orders and shit, you're like,
you're sort of onto it, yeah.
He's got it.
He's got it, yeah. And then he kind of sells some of that humour where he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing with the horse and all that sort of shit.
Yes.
Like he kind of sells that as he's a rube, but he's also... a dogged rube. Like later on when he's fucking Berenger tries to drop him off by climbing up the hill.
Yeah.
And then he looks down and he's
hanging on. Yeah.
You silly bastard.
I think they paint this picture pretty well of, this is not his scene, but he's gotten where he's got for a reason.
And there's a really good sequence that I like where Berenger tries to leave him behind at the cabin.
Yes.
And he tackles him to the ground and he says, I've dealt with the fucking KKK and this and that and the other. And he says, I'm well equipped to deal with this. You're not.
Yep.
And it sort of says, the cards are on the table, we both have something to offer.
Yep.
It's not just but you.
Yes.
So I really like those things. Scenery.
Magnificent.
Reminded me of First Blood. I think it might actually have been filmed in the same area.
Yeah.
First Blood.
It looked great.
Yeah. Fantastic.
All the location stuff was...
And from a directorial standpoint, I'm not, fuck. The bloke, Roger's not exactly John McTiernan or something like that.
No, he does have a good...
But he's got a solid eye and he knows what he's doing.
He's got a number of good films on the resume.
Yeah, he's got a couple. Turner and Hooch.
He's got a bit of terror train and things like that.
Oh, he has too, yeah.
But he did dabble in the comedy, the Turner and Hooches and the Stop and My Mum Will Shoot. Got it. Yeah.
I think that should have been renamed Stop and Sylvester Should Be Shot.
yeah. Probably. I mean, you could see he was heading that direction with scenes like the moose at the door. Which, look, guilty, I laughed. I laughed more at the Portier's reaction and fucking staring it down than just shutting the door.
I laughed the most when Portier gets told he's just eaten rat. He's like, oh, shit!
You ought to know my favourite. I don't even think it was supposed to be that funny, but when he's just saved him from fucking swinging off the edge of the cliff, and then he's tapping him on the shoulder going, wait, you need a rest. And Barry's just like, no. And then Portier goes, I need a rest. He just delivers it really well.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit funny too.
Yeah.
I really like the opening sequence with the hostage situation. Portier hits the scene. He kind of takes over. We kind of get a sense of what's going on.
Yep.
We then get the guy on the phone saying, I've got a message. I'm sending the maid out to give you a message.
Yeah.
He just shoots her.
Yeah, that was good.
And he says, did you get the message?
I mean, I did chuckle a little bit when he comes out under a blanket.
Under a doona.
He's fucking feeling for the handle of the car. And then, again, laughs when he fucking walks out carrying the lady.
Yeah, I've got some problems with that. But the funniest shot was he comes out with a doona over him. He feels for the handle. He gets in the car. We cut away to Portier talking on the radio. We cut back, and the fucking inside the car, all we see is like the doona going off.
Yeah.
It's like,
and then when the doona comes off, it looks like Cousin It. There's a wig involved. I think.
He was bearded, remember, and he had long hair. That's what he says later. From the back, when he's carrying that woman, he looked like the fucking Undertaker. He did. He was about to fucking coffin drop it.
Yeah, the old tombstone pile driver through the pier.
That's where things get a bit jarring for me.
Yeah,
you got fucking Sidney Poitier laying on the gravitas, and you cut to fucking carrying a woman around.
bouncing off the ropes.
Shit.
No, but yeah, I did chuckle at the doona and carrying the lady. But other than that, the idea of the scene is quite
cool.
good.
And I like all of that. It sets that tone that this is why he's so desperate to get him.
Yeah.
Because of what he did, how he shoots the woman, and then after he's left.
Because he's more of a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan.
Yeah, oh, fuck. Yeah, exactly. Do you think Sydney had a quick look back at that and went, what have I done? I should have stayed retired.
I think as soon as the bloke came out of the house wearing a doona, there was some second thought.
Yeah, like Roger, cut. Can we renegotiate my deal?
A couple of calls to the agent saying, can we knock down Sydney's page count by about 95%?
Yeah, he seems to be upset at what he's recently seen. Shit. Yeah, as I said, I got a really good laugh out of his. Again, a lot of it came from the way he reacts to things.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of, when we first meet him, he's kind of fucking really straight-laced.
Yeah.
And then when he's out on the trail, he's
out of place.
Yeah. He's out in the trail and he's slapping that horse on the arse.
Yeah. Dipping his shoes into the water and thinking,
and he gets on the horse and he turns around the wrong way and he's there going, no, stop. Get none of this shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, he does pretty well there.
The bit where Berenger attempts to retrieve the basket, that's a really cool scene.
Yeah.
Because of the way it's shot, because everything's done, all the stunt work's legit, you know, when he falls, my sphincter puckered.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He falls
that
a long
sells it,
way,
right?
the stunt man.
Yeah, the stunt stuff is really good. And that extends to where Clancy Brown's throwing everyone off. off the cliff.
Yeah.
So we get 3 consecutive off the cliff.
Yeah.
So we get 3 consecutive fucking shots of stuntmen going, yeah, off the edge of the cliff.
You sure it wasn't fucking Grant Page?
Yeah.
Just in different...
3 times in different clothes possible. But yeah, all that stuff, as you said, it sells it because they're actually there, and you get the fucking scale of
Yeah.
the drops and you see Grant Page dropping, and it definitely sells it. It makes it a little more tense.
Yeah, it gives you that feeling of like, fuck, that would have actually, anybody had actually fallen legitimately there,
Yes.
could have died.
And you see the stuntman fucking ramming it into the wall a couple of times. Like, yeah, he's not. He needs to lie down when he finishes up for the day.
But also, what I liked about that scene is it kind of shows that Portier's character can be relied upon. You know how he kind of saves him.
Yeah, it starts to build up that
relationship between them.
Yep.
I did like that bit where we finally meet the killer and he throws 3 people off the fucking cliff.
Yeah.
In quick succession, and it kind of ramps up the stakes. It's where it shows that she's in real danger now. This guy's, he's all bets are off. He's gonna, he's got a reason to have her. And one of the things I really like is he needs a guide too.
Yep.
He can't kill her.
Can't do it himself. Yep.
So I like that idea.
Yeah.
I've got a dislike
because it kind of builds into this. Yeah, Berenger and Portier are well behind, but they know that he is going to need that, or he's up shit creek as well until he gets to a certain point. Again, that point builds into some of the things that didn't work so well.
No.
But
I guess by that stage
he knows he's not going to survive out there if he doesn't know where he's going or what he's doing.
And I've got this is in the dislikes, but it's kind of a choice that I didn't quite understand. Well, I did, but I didn't. Is getting out of the wilderness. I just kind of felt like it feels right to end in there.
Yeah, it works for Berenger and Portier's characters because
you're swapping that whole you
were on my home turf now. Sorry, I was on your home turf. Now you're on mine. But in terms of the movie, it feels like it should have been played out in the wilderness. Yeah. Right?
Once he's thrown those people off if Berenger and Portier find the bodies, which I really like too, because it gives him that sense of, she's in the poo.
Yeah.
His missus.
Yep. Which leads to him wanting to fucking leave Portier behind.
Exactly, yeah. And I'm sort of
You're slowing me down sort of business.
I like the fact that they introduced the storm as another obstacle.
Yep.
And another sort of thing that they have to work together with. I believe Portier at one point tells him, "You stink. Do I smell like that?"
Yeah.
So I dug all that sort of stuff. I dug... That's why that switch back to San Francisco just feels kind of...
It doesn't quite work out.
It feels like it was also there to bring in some action.
It was Vancouver,
Vancouver,
wasn't it?
That's it.
So they're not even in
where he came from,
which led to a few questions. But yeah, the whole storm thing had one of my favourite lines in the piece when he's like, "How do I look?" And Barry just starts going, "I saw my granddad before he was buried." He's like, "What's that got to do with anything?" He goes, "Well, 3 days dead, he was looking better than you are."
Yeah, that's right.
And Portier reacts to that like he hadn't heard the line before.
Yeah, he fucking laughs his ass off.
Yeah.
I like the scene, for some reason I got a laugh out of the scene with the bear.
Yeah.
Where they fucking turn tail and bolt.
Yeah.
And what does he say to him? "Don't move." I know that.
Yeah.
I thought that stuff was, again, quite amusing.
Yeah, it was. And
again, just building up the Portier, he's like a bad smell. He just will not go away. Like, he's just up there. He's so fucking committed to getting it done that he'll just go through this shit. And I really like that. And for an actor of his kind of gravitas, in terms of the films he'd previously been in, it feels like it wouldn't have worked. Like, I was a bit the same. I was kind of like, well, this guy, he makes high-end sort of dramas and stuff.
Yeah.
This isn't his wheelhouse.
So the substitute, like, you can buy him as a teacher.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of delivery and the manner.
Yeah.
But the the action man, I was just like, oh, I'm not sure I see it. But when, as you said, when he gets in those situations, he's got a commanding fucking presence.
Yes.
And so he does fit when you see him in
And
those
you get more out of a Berenger.
You actually get a more realistic vibe of a high-level kind of operator
Yes.
than some of these people in those positions in action.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, Mel Gibson's not doing that.
Nah.
Mel's been kicked off the force.
Fuck no.
Whereas Portier, you could see the way he delivers, the way he kind of commands. You could see him, he's been in these situations. He's been in the, he's got down and dirty, but he's been in the fucking operational kind of situations as well. You could buy that when you see the guy.
And it works a treat.
Yeah.
It really does work a treat. My last one is the finale is actually pretty solid.
Yes.
It feels like it's there for action purposes.
Yep.
There's a car chase, there's a couple of shootouts, those type of things. Class standard action sort of tropes. But, Spotswood handles them reasonably well. He knows how to shoot the action.
Mm-hmm.
This movie's not blessed with a heap of really great lines.
No.
But when they're standing face to face on the ferry, and I think his comment is, "You let her go or you die. That's the only choice you've got." He says something like that, and he delivers it again. It's the actor that fucking sells it.
Correct.
As opposed to the line, but it works really well in that action sort of context. They zoom in on his face as he's saying it.
Yep.
And it works really, really well. So I think the finale, although I've got questions in the dislikes about why the finale is kind of where it is.
A number of them. Yeah.
Plot holes galore.
Yep.
But I kind of dig that, the delivery and the performances kind of carry a hell of a lot of this. Portier, as I said, very much like Denzel, he turns shit into watchable.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is total shit, but in different hands, it would have been less. It
wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah, like lesser film.
Yep.
Anything else from you on the like side?
No. I think we basically a lot of Portier and a couple of others. So I think we've well covered that.
Dislike. The killer sticks out like dog's nuts.
Yes.
I mean,
as you mentioned, they tried. They gave us a couple of people that had been in sort of sinister.
What did you call it? A murderer's row?
Murderer's row. But watching it now, we know Clancy Brown. We know what he's done previously. So the second he shows up,
yeah.
And then the other thing I looked at was, which one of these could carry an old lady? Clancy Brown.
Which one looks the most like The Undertaker? Who's recently cut his hair? Oh, here we go. The guy's got a fucking afro. Comes up with an afro, yeah.
So, I mean, the second you see him, I saw his name in the credits and I thought...
he did it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
That's never a good sign.
Yeah.
I
heard him on the phone saying, at WrestleMania, Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'm coming for it. I was like, it sounds like Clancy Brown.
Yeah. It just sticks out. It's too easy to know, and they give it away way too early.
Yes. And they also
because the characters aren't built, there's nothing there.
You barely spend any time with those guys. There's one other person, I can't remember his name, but he's the bloke with the mustache.
Oh, yeah.
They show him kind of tailing the group briefly for about 30 seconds, and that's the only
And they have that whole thing where they come to the basket and they say the line was cut.
Yes.
And Portier says anybody could have doubled back and just cut that rope.
Correct. So that's the only time they try to build up any kind of mystery around who it is. So I thought, if you're going to do that, you got to spend time with them and fucking actually build a mystery.
See, the problem is, that's a different movie.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a movie in itself.
That's a movie that doesn't seem to have anyone on their hammer.
Yeah.
That's a movie where you're going with that group and somebody becomes suspicious and is
one of them is
the rest of them.
Yeah.
And has to figure it out. That's what that is. So it feels like, and that also played into the clash between the humour and that situation.
Yeah.
So, not that I disliked it per se, but it was just sort of, it changed the tone a little bit and wasn't all that well developed.
Yeah, and it comes around to the next point for me, is that the Portier-Berenger situation and chemistry works really well, but yet there's so the other side has to be shortchanged.
Yeah.
So all those guys are shortchanged, and unfortunately, so is Kirstie Alley.
Yep.
You don't really get to know much about her.
No.
You don't get any sense of the relationship she has with Berenger.
You don't get a sense of that she's super capable in the wilderness when Clancy Brown isn't.
Yeah. Well, you get a kind of a sense.
Just
They
a
play a
small
couple of
sense.
things, a little things here, and but unfortunately, and this is the one thing I was disappointed in it from her standpoint, is you've got a really capable actress, and you've got a role where it's with a bit more meat.
Yeah.
A female role where she could have showed some toughness, but she only gets to do it once, where she kicks him in the fucking cods.
Yeah.
So.
And speaking of Sausage Fest, she's essentially the only female. There's another lady in the police office that has a line that I recall.
Yeah, there's not a lot of women. There's not a lot of women around the place. Shit. Yeah. Well, it was the 80s.
I know, but
women weren't capable of anything according to these
supposedly,
Hollywood.
yeah. But next level Sausage Fest on this one. There was,
And that's what I'm saying. Kirstie Alley is a good actress. And I believe the fact that she could be a wilderness guide. It's not like I sat there going, I don't really buy her, but we just get nothing for her to do.
Yep.
So when she's in the shit with Clancy Brown, so they could have spent a little bit more time almost like her playing cat and mouse mind games with him. That would have been okay.
Yep.
And there's also a part of that where they say, where Brown says to her, for the last hour, you've been trying to run away from me. And I'm thinking, it would have been better that she was trying to pull back to close the gap. Berenger and Portier, she knows they're coming.
Yeah.
She's going to pull back a little, let the gap close.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of seems like she's stupid or something.
I actually thought they were going to have a situation where they did catch up to him earlier in the movie. But as you said, even if that happens, Brown can't get rid of her. Clancy Brown can't get rid of her because he can't have himself stranded in the wilderness.
That's why he can't kill her.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but I just felt that they really fucked her over. Yeah, as I said, there are a lot of problems with carrying that woman out to collect the diamonds. Because I tell you what happens if you slip? What happens if your back goes out? You trip, you're stuffed.
Yeah, that was...
Wouldn't it be better to put her in front of you like a human shield and then just walk behind her?
Yeah, get another tall person to walk in front of you you have to carry her. I think it was made to show that this guy was formidable, like he was strong, but it just looked silly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He kind of picks her up round the waist and waddles off. And I'm thinking to myself too, here's a plot hole. Portier keeps the sharpshooter in the car, which I thought was cool.
Yep.
That whole idea that you come alone, and then he's Portier's sitting in the car, and then he kind of just sort of says, what are your chances? And the bloke sits up in the back.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yep.
The old fucking Undertaker shuffles out. His feet are his legs are exposed.
Yeah.
The sharpshooter's taking his knee out.
Yeah, there's something going on there. And I also thought sending the boat off, good idea. But when he's fucking clambering along the pier underneath, I thought to myself, he still has to get out of the water.
Yeah.
Where's he done that? Because there was a lot of police cars there. Someone's got a spotlight.
Oh, don't worry, mate. No, the coppers will pack it up. He's gone, long gone.
Yeah, shit. What time is it? 2:30. Fuck, I'm going home.
Oh, we've got to punch out. Yeah, it just looks really weird too. It took me out of that. That's a really tense hostage thing, and then my God's fucking shuffling there with a woman fucking carried in front of him.
Yeah.
Come on.
So getting into the plot holes.
Okay, here we go.
I know you've got a few. You mentioned the one person. I actually, I was watching Siskel and Ebert. I found the old YouTube clip of Siskel and Ebert talking about it.
Because they gave it a pretty good rap.
They did, yeah. Well, I think Ebert was higher on it. Siskel not so much, but they said the same thing. He mentioned the one FBI person, whatever happened to a fucking aerial search.
There'd be fucking helicopters
all of
everywhere.
These things. The big one for me was, after all of these fucking days trekking through, we end up on a road. So, obviously, where you're going, there's easily accessible places. And I know they set up, there was a car accident. Yeah. So the road was closed.
And that
that's
the killer basically veered off because he was silly. They weren't looking for him.
That's right. So, I mean, you're clearing up the road. You're clearing up the road closure reasonably quickly, a day.
But does he think that the cops are cutting off the border to Canada and the US? That's why he's trying to walk?
Yes, that's what I thought. But then when he gets to a road, I'm thinking, surely, okay, they've only assigned one bloke to this case and he can't get to a fucking phone because it's 3 days away. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But surely before they go out, they're like, these are the places that he could fucking get to. Check the roads.
Yeah.
There's the roads on the other side, wherever he's heading, you know. So when they wandered out to a road, I just thought, what? Because I was in the mindset that you were, that this was going to end in the wilderness. So when they roll out to a road and someone just pulls over and picks them up, I thought...
Yeah, well, that surprised me because I'd forgot about all that. I was kind of like, well, what the fuck? I thought they were in the wilderness the whole time.
Yeah. So, but I guess what it's saying is if this is a more well-coordinated effort and they're saying, right, let's attack from this side as well. We'll have people fucking hiking from the other end as well.
In a way, that could have still worked.
Yeah.
Because you could have had Portier after him, defies orders and hits the track after him.
Yeah.
Because he wants him bad.
Yep.
There's a coordinated search closing in on Brown.
Could have done with a couple of extra shootouts or something.
Yeah. There's an aerial search happening.
Yeah.
Means Brown has to sort of stay concealed. It could have added something to it. They don't really think about that. I think they're trying to make it a simple sort of, well, not simple, but you know,
it was kind of 2-on-2.
Yeah,
we're playing a half-court game.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of disappointed.
And, yeah, setting up in the post.
Yeah. Well, Clancy's in the post. No one else is there. No one's mashing up. He's just fucking. He's parking. He's sealing and saying, "Fucking feed the big dog." Turn around hook shot.
Yeah, all day long.
I bet Clancy's got a sky hook on him. So yeah, it just felt weird when they just walked out onto a road.
Yeah.
Like, well, that seems far more easily accessible.
And you would think that Kirstie Alley's character, again, could have played into that. She knows where the roads are.
Yeah.
She's beginning to move him towards them in an effort to see a car.
Yeah.
Flag down a vehicle. Again, it just kind of comes out of nowhere. They're in the fucking road.
Like, they literally just wandered out and here they're on a road. I'm like, what? So that was, that was a bit of a plot hole.
Let me give you a plot hole, my favourite plot hole. Kirstie Alley's on the radio to that guy, and the FBI guys are there. And Brown's already, made himself known. She's captured.
Yes.
And the FBI knows that this guy is in that group.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
She says, oh, I'm all alone.
Yeah, and she says it out of context. Yeah. She says it just out of context. They're having a chat, and then she goes,
by the way, I'm alone. And the FBI goes, all right, we'll spill our guts.
Yeah.
We'll do the whole story.
No, it's FBI agent.
It's like,
lays out
nobody would do that because you know that the group includes a murderer.
That's right.
So you are keeping her in the dark.
It's cat and mouse, you dildo.
Which
you're a piece of cheese.
Which course did you do, you dickhead?
Oh, God. Another one.
Yeah, okay.
Who deputised Beringer?
I know. At least he wasn't running around with a fucking gun.
No, that's right. But the final sequence. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, maybe they're trying to identify the woman, but surely we can have a fucking verbal description or a photo or something like that. But here's Beringer in the fucking little plaza.
Yeah.
Portier kind of looks around and then you see Beringer fucking,
with
one leg up on headband on one leg up on a fucking, on the next step. I'm going, what's he doing there? They're not putting a civilian in danger.
Oh no, Portier is. Portier, bring him in.
It's kind of like, I get the whole trade-off situation that,
you help me, I'll help you.
I'll take you. But I'm still saying, sit in the car. I'll take you out to the plaza, but you got to wait in the car.
No, I'm going, look, mate, I know you fucking carried me over rough terrain.
Yeah.
But, you don't have any powers to do anything here,
right.
mate, so I suggest you just pop over there.
If you shoot him, you're probably on a murder charge as well. But what about it then fucking backfires because Portier goes, psst, over here.
And he runs
and then Beringer kind of stands out and looks at him, and then Clancy Brown turns around and here's Beringer fucking out in the open staring at him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Of course it was the civilian that fucked that up.
Let me throw one at you. Tom Beringer in a bucket hat. No, guys, he was a manly man. Like, with the headband, that's perfect. That's exactly what I expected from TB.
There's nothing wrong with a bucket hat.
He looks like he's gone fishing.
Yeah, a couple of flies dangling from the hat or something.
Yeah, he got a couple of corks dangling around his face. I mean, come on. He looked ridiculous. Like, they're trying to have this sort of tough sequence where they, tell it, where it's at, and
Have you
in
seen
trouble.
Tom Berenger lately? He probably could have done with a few corks hanging from his hat because he looks like his head's been stung a few times. a bit swollen these days.
What? So when he got to 70, he got on the bloody Botox, Timmy.
Yeah, I think so.
His next big role will be on Botched.
God. Yeah. I think that's what it is.
And even those guys will be going, fuck, what happened to you?
You looked like Tom Berenger.
He used to look like Tom Berenger, now he looks like shit. And my last one was exactly what I said before. I'm just confused why it didn't end on the mountain. But the whole thing, to me, was leading up to that, and the wilderness would have been a great place to have some cat and mouse kind of stuff where they're stalking each other.
Yep.
But I can kind of see from a money-making perspective that action films were big back then.
Yeah.
So you needed some of the key elements.
Correct.
So they take it to Vancouver, they have a couple of shootouts,
Yep.
they have a couple of car chases, and that sort of stuff raises the pulse, But it just felt like it needed to end in the wilderness.
Yeah, I mean, it was building up to it, right?
Yeah.
So it was a little bit strange that's
That's
the way it played out.
I can see why there were particular reasons why they did it, but overall, I just didn't feel like they were. You could have gone other ways.
But you can still do it, right? You can still do it. That when we get to the shootout, that's Portier's home turf.
Yeah.
Berenger's, he's the mountain man, but he's not as equipped to deal with.
Berenger's ducking for cover, bucket hat.
He's pulling bucket hat down and fucking ducking behind a log.
Well, that's right. He's not the guy. It's up to Portier to arrest or kill this guy. It's not up to Berenger. Berenger's got them there. Now Portier takes over. Or you could have done, which was another better scene. Sorry, I missed it earlier on, when he goes into that house where that lady says, "Oh, they broke into my home and they messed the place up," and he kind of jumps into the scene and just goes, "It wasn't kids. There's beer in the fridge. They would have taken that.
Yes.
There's rope."
I mean, but shit.
Rope strands.
I'm 40 years old. I'd have drank the beer.
Fucking oath. I'd have been 3 sheets to the wind. In no way be able to make a diamond exchange.
Yeah, I've been out in the wilderness for a couple of days. The first thing I'm going for is a 6-pack. That's gone in 30 minutes.
Definitely. And when I wake up in the morning, she's gone. So are the diamonds.
That's right.
So are the diamonds.
And someone says, "What are you doing here?"
Splitting headache. I'm laying around in me crackers with a splitting headache. I need to take a piss, and she's fucking run off with me diamonds.
Yeah, that's what's happened to me. My whole plan has come unstuck because I happened to break into a cabin that had a fully stocked beer fridge. Shit, everything was going well until I found a 6-pack of Coopers.
Yeah, exactly. And when Portier gets to me, all I want is some fucking aspirin. Lie down.
Yeah, take me in. I'll spill the beans. Just give me a Barocca.
Yeah, give me a Barocca, hit me with some Panadol, and I'll tell you everything as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Anything else from your end?
No, it was really just... there was a couple of silly contrivances to make it this situation, but when they were there, it was enjoyable enough.
Yes.
And I think, I think basically what we've covered is what again, in the manner that we've taken it, I'm laughing at most of them because it was just, it didn't fucking make me angry about it or anything.
No.
It was just classic action movie kind of things that you just
ignore. Yeah, you just
That's
ignore.
right.
And as an action film, you just kind of like, well, no, the audience doesn't care
Yeah.
too much about
That's
this. You know, so I was pretty happy either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a few little plot holes there. All right, that's Shoot to Kill. Thank you again to Matty for bringing this up. We really appreciate you listening to us and all that sort of stuff. You can find us on Podomatic, iTunes and Spotify. Send us an email at thrillme@ionet.net.au. We're on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and on Instagram at thrillmepodcastau. Make sure you rate and review us on all the platforms. Keep an eye on the Facebook page with regards to details of the next film we're covering. But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at ionet.net.au.